Hello, I'm Annalouise, and today I'm going to invite us to try on a feeling. When you buy clothes, do you tend to try them on or have a look and see whether the size might be right for you? I imagine you might hold it up. This is what I do, hold it up and estimate, is this the right size? Or if there's a changing room, I might try it on. Or when I get it home, I might try it on. Yeah, so when we buy clothes, it's really important for us that they roughly fit. And ideally, they fit really, really well. Yeah, because when clothes fit well, we feel good in them, they look good, they hang well, and it can change the whole way we feel about something. Imagine if we bought something that was either 5 sizes too big or 5 sizes too small, and we tried to wear it, how we would feel when we went out in the street wearing that item. Just picture that for a minute. We'd probably feel a little bit uncomfortable, maybe a bit embarrassed, and we wouldn't necessarily feel ourselves, whatever that means. So when we buy clothes or we choose what to wear, we make sure they fit us. With our feelings, how often do you think about trying on a feeling for size? And when we're leaving the house, thinking, does this feeling that I have right now fit for what I'm about to do? When I wake up in the morning, does how I'm feeling now, does that fit the day I want to have? This idea came from my dear friend Ange. We were talking about feelings and tapping into different feelings, and she talked about the idea of trying on a feeling for size, as it were. And what I love about this idea is that it enables us to have more choice around the feelings we're feeling. We don't have to take our feelings for granted. We don't have to think just because I'm feeling X, Y, or Z, I have to stay that way. I can think about it a bit like some clothes. I'll try this feeling on, see how that feels like. I'll try another feeling on, or I'll go somewhere and I'll think, what feeling might I want to try on for whatever I'm about to do? Often I think we think our feelings come out of the other end of experience. So we might think, well, I do what I really love, like maybe for me, it might be swimming in the swimming pool, and afterwards I might feel happy. But maybe I could try on the feeling that I would have afterwards before I even went swimming, or completely unrelated to any swimming event. So let's experiment a bit, because I think my personal belief is that the more we become feeling intelligent, the more we can recognize those little trace vibrations of different feelings in ourselves, the more it gives us the power to connect with what's really happening, to connect with what triggers might be prompting those feelings, and also to have choice, to be able to go, what could I change here to help my configuration, to be in a place where my feelings fit with how I want to be in the world today. Let's play around, have a little game with this. So let's try, just tuning in. Let's try on for a moment happiness. So let's imagine we've gone to a shop and we're trying on the feeling of happiness. And what do we notice when we try on a feeling of happiness? What changes do we start noticing in our body, in our general outlook? If we were trying on the feeling of happiness and someone walked by, how might we interact with them? When I try on the feeling of happiness, I smile. And I also notice openness to connect with other people more. I notice like a warm feeling here. I feel like my heart expanding. I feel lighter. It feels like quite a good outfit to wear. Let's try on a different feeling. So how about we try on anger? Yeah, so we've gone to the shop and we're gonna put on our anger outfit and just allow the changes to permeate through our bodies. It might take less or more time to connect with this feeling. Every person will be able to try on feelings more or less easily, and everything's valid. Yeah. So first of all, see how easy it is for you to try on anger, whether there's any resistance or whether it feels really, really good. Maybe you're wanting permission to try on anger. And let's see what happens. And let's do the same thing. Imagine someone was walking past us in the shop and we're trying on anger. How do we respond to them? How do we feel in ourselves? Where's our consciousness, our awareness? When I try on anger, I notice that when that person passes by, I'm feeling quite resentful towards them. Like I don't want them to disturb my world, like I don't want them to talk to me, just sort of stay. I have that sort of like slight stay away type feeling. So sort of a sense of separation. I notice like contraction around here, like this sort of like tightening. I notice a bit of a fixation as well, like my consciousness feels a little bit more fixated. Yeah, what do you notice when you try on anger? Let's try on another one. Let's try on sadness. Again, just notice what happens when I even say the word. It may be that you're willing or you're not willing. All is good. So we're putting on sadness. And what happens in your system? That person passing by, what happens in relationship to them? How do you feel in yourself? How optimistic do you feel about future possibilities? What I notice when I try on sadness is a tendency, like I was not fully allowing it because I'm here with you, but might have a tendency for my body to like come down into a collapsed state. Like that's what the impulse is. I want to like curl up, and it feels very inner directed. Like it feels quite lonely, and yeah, I'm not interested in talking to that other person. I've lost interest in connection in some way. Yeah. And I don't see many possibilities for myself when I try on sadness. It's like the world has closed down its potentiality to me, or I've closed it down myself. Yeah, so there we go, sadness. What should we do now? Let's try on hope. Optimism, hope, openness. Let's try that sort of collection of feelings. Optimistic, hopeful. So we're putting the outfit on, and as we put it on, we notice how it changes us. What do you notice in your sensory experience? That person walking by, what do you notice in your relationship to them? What do you notice in your body? All information. How do you feel in yourself? Is this something that feels like it would be nice to try on quite regularly or not? What do I notice? I noticed like a greater receptiveness. I noticed like it was as though I wanted to be looking around everywhere and seeing what opportunities would be. It was like it felt like my field really became open. And I noticed when that person was passing, it's like I really wanted to receive everything I could about that person, all the information that was there. Like it was sort of a bountiful possibility, that person walking past. Very different from sadness. With sadness, it was like not interested in interacting. With hope, it was like, gosh, I wonder what shared serendipity there might be with this person. Very, very open. My body feels open, pretty relaxed. Yeah. We could continue. There are so many different feeling tones that we could try on for size. But hopefully this has just given us a flavour of how quickly we can try on different feelings and how quickly those changes manifest in our whole configuration, in our awareness, in our reality, in that moment, in what we're experiencing in our body chemistry even. And being able to recognise, what feeling do I want to try on in this moment? We may put a reasonable amount of conscious attention to what we're wearing in a day. How much attention do we put on what we're feeling consciously in terms of what we're feeling? So let's play around with it a little bit more in that context. So let's imagine we're going to meet some friends, and what feeling would we like to try on in order to go and meet them? Whatever comes to mind for the friends that you're imagining. And then just experiment, maybe change the feeling to something else, whatever comes into your awareness, and see how that changes it. And let's imagine if we showed up with those friends in those two separate configurations, how different the meeting could be. Because in one configuration, our conversation might start in one place, and in another, it's likely to start in a completely different place. And that potentially could layer out into a completely different experience. So if we show up with a feeling tone of maybe happy, joyful, and we go, oh, do you know what happened yesterday? I had this amazing experience of da 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 da, and then someone else goes, oh, you know what? I had a similar experience. Before you know it, the whole gathering is focused in that particular energy. Or if I chose to talk about an event yesterday that hadn't gone so well, so I had a terrible time yesterday. Yeah, you wouldn't believe what happened. And then they go, oh yeah, I had a really bad day yesterday as well, and gosh, it hasn't got any better today. It's so easy to see how these small changes cascade into not just that moment and that gathering, but then our whole life. We come back, and if we've chosen one route or the other, then that once again will influence everything underneath it. Everything is so connected. Yeah. How are you feeling in relation to this whole topic now that we've been talking about it a little bit? Do you feel like maybe you have more choice? Do you feel you have more awareness of how your body wears different feelings and what that does to your whole way that we're making up our realities? I'm curious. Do post in the comments below, because everything is so fascinating and it helps us all learn together from each other's experience. I know sometimes that my feelings can feel very heavy, like as in it's not that easy just to try on a different feeling tone, right? So I want to honour all of our experiences. Some days it may be that what we really need is to connect with the feeling tone we're in and meet something there in order to move through something so that we can have more choice over our feeling tones. It may be that we need some support in some way to meet some of the things that are present for us. And I also invite us to play around a little bit and see, even when we're perhaps a little bit stuck, it's like, could I play around with a different type of feeling? I remember quite a few years ago, I was travelling through a difficult patch. There was a lot of sadness present for me. And yet occasionally I would break out into a smile when I saw, for instance, a little kid, maybe a 2-year-old, play with a dog on the street. And I'd suddenly break out into a smile, and I was like, interesting, right? You know, like this, I have this general feeling tone, this undercurrent that's going on, but in an instant, that can change. And that gave me enormous faith that we have so much potential to invite feeling tones that serve us and feel good in the moment, and also are supportive to those around us. What, for the rest of the day today, what comes to you when I say, what feeling tone would you like to invite more of today? Wherever you're at, what would you like to invite more of? And for a moment, let's imagine trying that on. Let's imagine the rest of the day and actually being in that feeling in the rest of the day and seeing how our interactions change, how our relationship to who we are and what is around us changes. And I invite us all this week to, when we wake up in the morning, I suggest you put a little post-it, because our memories can be a little bit short sometimes, so unless we choose for them not to be. So perhaps put a little post-it beside your bed or on the bathroom mirror. Say, what feeling would I like to try on today? To get into the habit of thinking about this and to invite feelings that serve us. In the same way, maybe a little post-it on the door as you go out of your apartment or house, saying, what feeling would I like to wear as I leave the house? Just a little, actually some joy might be quite nice. I think I'll have a little bit of joy. Yeah. Have fun, experiment, do post your comments below, and if you want to know more about me and my work, go to www.resonating.love and do subscribe to the channel. I produce little videos like this around topics around being human, about really embracing the fullness of our humanity on all different levels. And if you subscribe and press a little bell, you can receive notifications. And I find the best way to help evolve and elevate myself is when I invite other people into my world and my experience, and we can all learn together. And so I suggest, if there's anyone that comes to mind that you might like to share this video with, then to share it. Because can you imagine if you went into a group of friends and they'd all seen this video, you could actually say at the beginning of the gathering, it's, what feeling would we like to have more of today? And everyone could go around and say, actually, I could do with a feeling of greater connection, or I could do with a feeling of letting go a little bit more, a bit of release. I could do with a feeling of feeling more relaxed. And it can become a real habit amongst a group of peers to feel into our world in this way and to have more conscious choice. So do share, and let's see what happens in this grand experiment of our lives. So much love and light.